This video and all other videos on this channel are for entertainment purposes only. The content of this video and all other videos on this channel are the opinions of the creator only and do not constitute legal, trading, investment, or financial advice of any kind. Investing carries a high level of risk and the majority of retail clients lose money. Do not invest any capital unless you understand the risks and you are prepared to lose it all. Right, hello and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel and welcome to the week. Welcome to Monday. The main focus for this week, I think, is just going to be getting through FOMC. Not that there's much work to do, if I'm being completely honest, but we know on Wednesday we've got this FOMC. We also know it's already completely baked into the cake that we're going to be remaining paused there. I am noticing as we start to click through, we've got 80% probability we're still paused in the following meeting. For September's meeting, the majority is currently in favour of seeing a cut by September. But of course, that does not necessarily mean they won't reprice further to the right-hand side, remaining paused for longer. So it's not really the rate cuts that I'm too concerned about, or lack thereof. I think we're going to almost certainly be remaining paused. But I think what will be the most important for the market to hone in on is any discussion towards rate cuts or any kind of discussion towards printing or helping markets. To be honest, as ever, I'm only going to be looking at his tie. Purple tie means we keep pumping, and blue tie means look out below. Expect some chops, some games and volatility around this meeting, just as we see at the CPI data releases as well. For the rest of today's episode, I just want to talk about a few bullish Bitcoin charts. Then I want to talk a little bit briefly about gold, and then we'll just check in on the positions that we've got open at the moment. We'll continue to track the cycles as always. We'll do some TA and live trades and all of that kind of stuff. So kicking things off here with Bitcoin and the cycle repeat, okay? If this cycle is really not going to be different at all, if we're going to have the standard right translated month 35 high that we have always seen in every other prior cycle, then we should be right beneath the final pump to the top right now, which is equivalent to right here, okay, where last time we saw one final push that took us from somewhere around $100 to somewhere around $1,300. Then the following cycle, again, right at this point in time, we managed to do approximately a 10x from this current moment here. Cycle 3, of course, had the most lackluster performance from this part of the cycle, but it still approximately did a 100% pump from that low. So the big question for me is, have we got some big blow off top similar to 2017? Because at the moment, structurally, we are most similar to 2017. And if that's going to continue, it tells me at least to keep an open mind about actually seeing much higher prices than I think a lot of people are willing to entertain. Got a very nice rundown from OVCrypto here I wanted to run through. Going into the weekend, the Bitcoin price action was not looking too encouraging. We were back below the trend line, we were closing below the 10 SMA, and we weren't really sure if we were just getting a back test of the daily cycle low, or whether this was setting up for a failed cycle and a rollover. And I think it's still slightly too early to say for sure, but if we just pop into this chart right here, we can say a couple of things are true. This moment, we're back above the trend line, so that's good. And we are also back above that 10 period SMA. So far, it has the criteria, at least from my perspective, to be simply a retest of the cycle low looking for higher prices. So long as we can continue north from here for the rest of this week, I don't think there's anything to be concerned about. OV also showing here that the indicator, the camel indicator, has picked the daily cycle low already. You can see that here. So that for me is a very strong piece of confidence to say that we have a new daily cycle behind us and we are on our way higher. The aggregated funding rates are flat and the premium deeply negative as of the weekend, telling us to be open to seeing higher prices here walking forward. And what this basically means is that shorts are paying longs, or that there are more shorts in the system than longs. Again, setting up the path of maximum pain to the upside. Liquidation data from CoinGlass shows there's 14 billion of shorts waiting to be liquidated, higher up than where we are now with only 8 billion of longs ready to be liquidated below. Again, speaking to the pain trade being higher. Everyone's favorite fractal at the moment is, of course, the M2 money supply with some kind of offset. And so far you can see that Bitcoin in orange is tracking the global M2 chart with the offset, at least for now. So again, it speaks to what I said earlier. If we can continue to move higher this week, happy days. I don't think there's too much to be concerned about here. And if we change this to a 78-day offset, you can see this thing's tracking even closer. Again, telling us to be open about seeing higher prices walking forward. And we, of course, even have the hash ribbon buy signal still telling us to expect higher prices. Now, these don't have a 100% hit rate, but they are pretty consistent for telling us when further upside is coming. The only thing is, I would say about the hash rate, just in my own opinion here, is oftentimes they flash a buy signal and the price still chops around for a while, then it moves higher. So we may have to see a little bit more congestion in here before it starts to move higher, but make no mistake about it, that is a hash ribbon buy signal, which is usually conducive to higher prices walking forward. Again, I want to take the opportunity here to point at this Hyperwave chart. TK has built a beautiful one here. and has even taken the liberty of adding the Elliott wave count. So it could look something like this, right? 1 into 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into 3, back to 4, and then the 5th of the 5th of the 5th of the 5th into Insano Berserko territory. So is it coming, isn't it? I don't know. We're going to have to keep taking it one day at a time. But so far, it's not yet invalidated. Unless it breaks down from this phase 3 line, then this is still very much in play. And from Bitcoin to gold, here's a friendly reminder that gold has overtaken the euro as the number 2 reserve asset as of last year. So the top 3 by market share is now the dollar, gold, and the euro. And again, I make the case that no one is really bullish enough on the precious metals here. If we take a look at my fractal, we're still following this closely enough for me to say that we're following it. And there may have to be a slight pullback into the middle of the week to give us a daily cycle low for gold. But then I really do believe we're going to continue to see this price move much, much, much higher. And so as we head into the week, it really is as simple as so far so good. So long as we can continue higher, I don't think we got a problem. The stop loss is still there. It's still public for everyone to see in red. And until such time as I'm stopped out, I don't need to really be entertaining any downside scenarios. If we start to approach that stop loss, then I think we can start to put downside scenarios on the table. But I want to head into this week remaining optimistic for now. Gold, as I said, might have to do a little bit more chopping around. Although as I'm pulling this chart up, I'm noticing that the camel indicator has suspected we already have a new daily cycle low in place, which is pretty interesting. That wasn't there when I checked on Saturday, which again speaks to the market having an underlying momentum here conducive to further upside. It would not have picked this if it didn't think there was an extremely high probability that we were going to see higher prices here. With the level 3 members over the weekend, I was entertaining the idea that we could have had a slightly early cycle low, but as I said, the indicator hadn't picked it at the time, so I was remaining open to a couple more days of decline, find a normal and more typical daily cycle low inside the expected window. But if the camel indicator has picked it here, then one thing I have learned through all the back testing and through all of the extensive refining that we did to this product, we drew the conclusion quite early on never to second guess it. If it thinks the low is there, then I think the low is there as well. And that is one of the things this tool is the most powerful for. So I wasn't ready to see a low just yet. But now the camel indicator has flagged it to me, I'm not going to second guess it, which means we probably have an early daily cycle low in, and we're probably moving higher from here. So pretty wild times. Either way, we're positioned for this. That's why we played the last cycle low just in case this was a weekly cycle. And as you can see, the camel indicator has chosen this as a weekly cycle as well. So I would say nobody is bullish enough on gold. And even in the quote bearish scenario, we're probably going to be doing something more like this. It certainly looks like that to me right now. So let's see, right? Again, moving into this week with a cautious optimism. And we got a back test of the high breakout from back here into Friday's session. I noticed the sentiment was looking a bit bad. We had a VIX that had kind of popped up a little bit here. But so far, if we go to the US 500 chart, seems to be bouncing off of the prior support. So we've turned resistance into support at this point, looking for higher prices. And again, I want to take this same approach of so long as we continue up, then happy days, start to head down towards the stop loss levels, start to look like we're going to print failed cycles, and then I think it would be time to go back to the drawing board and reassess. But for now, so long as we continue up, I would say happy days once more. So I'm your boy Camel, I hope you're doing well, and until tomorrow, take care from me, all the best, cheers, bye.
Camel Finance, he's the man to see, rocking the markets with his contrarian spree. Trades like a pro, no fear, no shame, sticking to his guns in his money game.